Hi, and welcome to another weekly video, Living with Alzheimer's, and this I believe is week number 41. Now, I don't very often plan things, or I don't very often plan what I'm going to say on these videos. Sometimes I have got so that I try to put something together a little bit, and I have been trying to make the odd few notes to make the videos as informative as I can. But dementia and Alzheimer's being what it is, today I had an idea which I only had just a few seconds before I put the record button on, and of course it's gone. And I suppose it actually brings me to something that is very relevant to Alzheimer's, and obviously it is short-term memory. But do you know there are so many other things, so many other elements to this condition, and I think there are elements that probably people don't realise and don't understand, and there's no reason why they should, until you're actually directly connected with this condition. Obviously, short-term memory, that's a big key thing. But Alzheimer's, for me personally, has changed my whole life. It has changed the way that I think. It has changed, I think, my mannerism a little bit. Is mannerism a word? Yeah, I'm sure it is. And it changes the likes and my dislikes. It changes so many things in my life over the last, or has changed so many things in my life over the last 3 years since diagnosis. And I know for a fact that I was diagnosed 3 years ago. I think it's about 2 or 3 days ago, was the 3-year anniversary of actually being diagnosed. I often try to bring people into the world of Alzheimer's, and I think one of the ways to try and bring people into what it's really like is if you imagine that you went to bed one evening and you woke up the next morning and you were the same person. You looked exactly the same, and you were the same when you looked in the mirror. But effectively, from here down, you're the same person, but from here up, you're not. So the way you dress would have changed. The way you think would have changed. The way you work problems out. The things that you can do. The achievements and your likes, your dislikes of music, and even the way that you like food, even what you eat, changes. I know for a fact that over the last 3 years, my taste in food and drink has changed considerably. I know that my wife has told me that you didn't eat this a year ago. You wouldn't even dream of eating this. But now you eat a curry, or you eat something completely different that you wouldn't. The way I dress is differently. The way I think is differently. Everything is different. Now, for somebody like me, and if, like I say, you woke up that morning and you changed mentally, you might remember the old person. And I do remember myself when I ran a business, when I was reasonably successful in what I'd done, and when I had many abilities. Now all those abilities have gone. And I remember the things that I can't do. And I know that I often say that I focus on the things I can do, not the things I cannot. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that it sticks a bit. It makes me quite angry to a point, I suppose is the right word, that I have got this condition and that I can't drive. I have to rely on others, and I can't do the things, and that certain things in my life have changed. And you imagine that waking up that next morning and all these things change for you in your life. You could remember the old you, and the saying still goes, I am still me, but you're a new you as opposed to an old one. And sometimes the new one is not is not really what you want, but you're stuck with it. And I think that does frustrate people like myself at this stage in the journey, or this stage in the disease. Maybe as things progress, I will look at life a little differently. But one thing that I have learned is that doing these videos, doing these recordings and keeping them on YouTube is a great library for me and for others. So I suppose, thinking about it, there are many achievements in the midst of not having achievements, if that makes sense. I don't know whether that really tells you a lot this week, but I suppose what it does tell you is that I had something planned and I'd forgotten it, but I have said something. And in actual fact, here's another thing. Today my memory is not that brilliant, and in actual fact what I have said on this video, I have absolutely no idea. I know that I'm 6 minutes into it. I'm hoping that I've said something that is good and educational, but there we go. Oh, I know one thing. Next week I have something which I think will be pretty good, actually. I have an old school friend who moved to Malta, and I haven't seen him for many, many, many years. And he moved to Malta and works in dementia care in Malta. And he's coming back this next week. So he's going to be here on the sofa with me next week for next week's video. It's on the sofa with me. It's beginning to sound like some sort of morning TV show, isn't it? So, and that's my old friend Stephen. I know Stephen will be watching this week's video, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Stephen, and I'm looking forward to getting some input on what dementia is like in Malta, and the care that goes on there, and also I think really I'm also interested to know whether Stephen noticed any changes from all those years back. That'll be something, and it'll also kick off a great lot of memories for me. So so yeah, I hope that you all tune in next week, because I'm really looking forward to doing that video with my old school friend. Okay, well, as always, have a great weekend. Have a wonderful week. That bit I always do remember to say. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you all and having a chat with you all next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.